And here we are for our weekly wrap-up podcast here at Halifax FACTS Oasis. What a great week it's been. I've been out and about and brought you some videos I'm going to talk about a little bit. I want to first do my update on the website. Let me show you that real quick. And there it is. As you can see here, go back. On the home page, I haven't added a lot. There's a calendar there now. This is where we'll have the Friday night wrap up. On Wednesdays, I've got a guest co-host that will be joining us sometimes, not every time, potentially an interview. And then on Thursday nights, when I'm going to try and do a bona fide interview with someone in the county, I've got about four people lined up for the next couple weeks. Mostly trying to talk about things going on around the county and just getting to know people. It's fun. Anyway, so there's the calendar I've added. There's the blog section. It's just some other little notes. If you click this, that's how you get to all the videos. And what have I changed here? Nothing here. Nothing here. There's the podcast on YouTube and Facebook links. I have not added a thing in the world to towns and communities yet. I just haven't had time. But I'm hoping this week is when I'm going to be able to get a lot of stuff done because I'm starting a driving training school the following Monday, and I'm going to be pretty busy. Here we still have, I'm continually, man, I can't talk tonight. Continually adding to meetings and documents. The events is always getting update. Here's all the Feed Halifax information and the local scam watch that I told you I added. In the events, you just scroll through here. Right now it's looking like a lot of Christmas stuff. As I've said before, I find all this on Facebook, and I'm really hoping that people will contribute more, because I'm really happy to put your events up, and as we grow viewership and followers and all that. I also started a chat room, and I'm basically just using it to do some polls because I want to know what viewers want to see, and I've gotten some really good feedback and some really good suggestions. So let's talk about things on a national level for a minute. This shutdown is really sucky. Everybody wants to blame everybody. It doesn't matter because they're all politicians and they all have their finger in the pot, and they're all not working or doing a damn thing and making six-figure salaries, while other people like federal workers and who's the airport people, air traffic controllers go working without pay, military. I've seen photos of military people in food bank lines. It's just, I'm trying to find a good word. Because all of the words get used so much. It's disgraceful, it's shameful, it's pitiful, it's this, it's that. It just is wrong. If we have to put it in the basket of one word, it's wrong. And why all these politicians can't work together, you just can't sit there and keep trying to blame a certain party or a certain side. They're all in it together. This is what we've got to realize in this unity of working people. I beg of you to have an open mind and stop pointing fingers. I've said all along, this is rich people versus poor people, oligarchs versus working people. They want to get us to not like each other and have these buzz topics to argue about so that we're not looking at what they're doing. But you've got hundreds and hundreds, you've got thousands of politicians getting paid in DC right now to do nothing, to do absolutely nothing. So sitting down and compromising is what we need a strong leader to make happen. And it's not happening at any level, not the Congress, Senate, judicial, any of them. So this needs to come to an end. Why this is happening, I've got several theories. I mean, just like a lot of things, we can say things, but we can't prove a lot of things. But I do think part of this is due to these Epstein files to come out. Little bits are dribbling out, and I think the longer it goes on, I think this is something that cannot be contained, and the longer it goes on, the more things that are going to get leaked by whatever players are behind the scene. There's been a lot of photos and videos that have now apparently been viewed that they're trying to get out to the public. And I think this is way worse than even we anticipate. And it's also, go away, fly. It's also another issue that no matter what you believe politically, we should all be in unity of, because this is something that is so grossly egregious. Again, all the words, I don't have the words because it's so bad. Wrong. It's so wrong. What has happened, and these rich people and these corporate managers and so-called leaders and oligarchs and whatever are so above the law and have abused and mistreated children and have this clearly a pedophilia ring going on, that it needs to be exposed. I think this is really, truly one of the worst cover-ups in the history of mankind, or certainly modern history, you know, because we need to understand how and why this has happened, because it's just going to continue. And I don't think any of us want children to be victimized in any way, shape, or form, be it sexually, emotionally, mentally, physically. You know, that's what we claim to protect, but our actions aren't showing it in some circles. Coffee, so good. I shouldn't drink it at night, but I do have my water too, so I'll keep that aside. Yeah, and I hope that some of you will even take it as far as calling congressmen and senators or anybody in politics and voicing your opinion that, you know, stop it. Open the government. Stop the excuses. I don't care who you are. Release these Epstein files. That's something that really nags on me, and I think people shouldn't be sleeping at night with this level of awfulness going on. And I think I've said that from day one of this podcast. Can you believe I've been doing this two or 3 months now? Amazing. I've had so much fun and met so many wonderful people. So let's come on back down to the local level. I want to talk about two videos I did this week. The first one was election night. That was so exciting. It really was. And I had some viewers tell me, thank you for doing that. It was like they could be there. My camera work really sucks. I'm the first to admit it. I own that. Another thing I did about Ron Braid, I didn't even think to put the tripod up to get a steady shot. So I'm a little wobbly, and like my arm would get tired, and I'd have to take my hand off the camera, and it would shake, and it was like at a real important point when he was talking, and I felt bad. But I do promise to continue to try and improve this. And that's one thing I really need to work on is my camera work. I'm wondering if they have some kind of shoulder strap where you can put the camera on your shoulder so it, you know, your hands aren't so, you know, because I'm not young. Anyway, yeah, so the election night, someone made a suggestion that I should have taken some snapshots of each page of the precincts and their numbers so that people could look, because, you know, the camera, and when I go back and sometimes look at these, I see that I go way too fast. I need to slow down and take better shots. So I promise to you I will try and do that in the future. However, some of the numbers haven't come in yet. I think mail-in voting, they have a deadline to get that counted, and provisional votes or something. So there's nothing, I was told there's nothing that's going to come in that's going to change any of the results that came in. So it's just a matter of having the numbers. A few things I want to talk about other than the excitement. It happened so fast. The results were in a matter of, I think I was there 45 minutes. That blew me away. I literally planned on being there all night because that's just the perception I had in my mind. And that goes to show you that we may perceive things, but we don't even know what the hell we're talking about. So I'm certainly open open to learning, and that was a great learning experience. And watching each precinct came in and counting the numbers, and everybody's sitting there writing them down, trying to figure it out. You know, what's the total? What's this? Who's ahead? Who's doing that? It was so cool. I wish I'd seen more people there, though, because it was mostly candidates and their families. It would be nice to see more of the general public there. But then again, that's what you got me here for. I can bring that to you, doing it live. And again, I can still only do live from my phone because this software is not working, whatever. But the live is what excites me. I like doing live videos. So I got to talk to the candidates before and a little bit after. That was really fun. And you could tell everybody was nervous. And even though they said, oh, whatever will be, will be, you know, this is your reputation you're putting out in public. So there's got to be some feels to it, you know. Nervousness, worry, all that. The 3 Board of Supervisors that I had given my personal endorsement to, 2 of the 3 won. Mr. Gordon did not prevail. It was, I think, 43% is what he took, and Mr. Thompson took 51 or 2. You'd have to go look at the numbers. But as soon as Heather gets me the rest of the numbers and we have actual final tallies, I can do that. You know, how many in each precinct, be it mail-in voting, in-person voting, early voting, or whatever. All that will get published in the end. And it'll be really fun to compare that next year. And even more so in 2 years, 2027, when the rest of the Board of Supervisors are up for re-election. That is an election I'm really looking forward to because I kind of understand the process more now. You know, again, your patience with me is wonderful because this is such a learning process for me. So, a couple of other things at the there was something came up about undervotes and overvotes, and I was like, we were wondering what does that mean? And someone there said, oh, the overvote means more people voted than were registered. Luckily, someone in the election office heard that and corrected it and said, no, that is not what that is. So I want to make sure it's very clear. Overvoting is when you have 2 candidates for a position and the person marks both votes. They didn't vote for one, they voted for 2 or everybody. They overvoted. So that made perfect sense. Undervoting is when you have, say, 3 things on the ballot. Say there's a Board of Supervisor, a school board person, and something else. But they only vote for the Board of Supervisors. They don't vote for the rest of the things that are on the ballot. That's what undervoting is. So there was a few undervotes and overvotes and that I was real curious about, and they were gracious enough to explain that. And I'll probably put that on the website under the Election Watch or Election Information tab so that people understand what that is. And I want to make that really clear because this is where misinformation or disinformation, in this case I think it was just misinformation, gets put out. Because if someone says, oh look, here's a number proving that more people voted than were registered, so it's false records or voter fraud or whatever, that is not the case at all. There's a clear explanation for what overvoting and undervoting is, and I appreciate very much the accuracy of the election office. Speaking of the election office, those girls had been there, and guys, I'm sorry, it wasn't just girls. They had been there working. I think she said they were up till like 2 in the morning the night before, and then they stayed there and got all those votes tabulated and out as soon as the precincts closed. It was amazing. It was amazing what they did. And they were, well, loudmouth me, I'm bombarding everybody with questions, but they were so gracious and kind, you know, and everybody's milling about trying to see what are the numbers, and the poor girl's trying to tape the paper down, you know, and we're all, but they handled it professionally well. They were courteous. I am so impressed with that election office. It was great, and it was exciting, and I cannot wait for another election to cover it again. This is something I want to do on a regular basis and learn more and more, and I really do hope to get an interview with someone there just to talk about it so that you can meet these people that work there. A lot of people don't want to talk on camera. I get that. Like the cop that was there before I started rolling the camera, he was chatty Cathy, la 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 la, blah blah blah. And then as soon as that camera started rolling, man, he turned around and walked up. He didn't want to talk on camera, and that's fine, whatever. Yeah, I understand you can't because of your job talk about politics, but it's still just nice to get to know you, especially if you've been on the what's it called, the county, who are the county police office. Halifax County Sheriff's Department. If you've been there 26 years, it'd be nice to, put a name to the face and give us a take about what you do. So, that was election night. And God, I wish I could get young people vested and interested in this. It's something fun and exciting to do because everything that happens affects them and they don't even know it. How much they pay taxes on their cars, when they buy their new little Bubba pickup trucks, and what they got to pay for tags and inspection stickers, and all these things, all these different rules. And they want to fuss about rules, but they're not involved in the process. So I'm hoping at some point, maybe I can get with the election office people and we could go to the high school and talk to them. I don't know, whatever. Just anything would be so nice. And that's the perfect segue into meeting these high school students. One night this week, and there's a video on I did a podcast on it. I don't think I did a live stream. No, I did a recording stream. Again, because I wanted good quality video, even though I shake. I didn't know what to expect. I had all I read somewhere on Facebook. I'm tired of getting all my information from Facebook. I wish people would send me emails about stuff. Anyway, that they were having a meet and greet for the new county administrator, Ron Braid, at the high school. So I knew the place, I knew what it was, and I knew the time, but I had no idea what the agenda was. It turns out there was a lot of speaking, which is why I wasn't prepared with my tripod. And when I got there, I noticed they were putting all this nice food out, and it turns out the culinary class at the high school were doing it, and apparently they do this for other events. So I went and I looked, and I got some great video of the food. It was absolutely beautiful. By the way, boys, and girls, if you see this video, the quiche Lorraine, it was divine. You did a great job. Cooking is another hobby of mine. So I know how to appreciate what they were doing. So I got to interview the culinary class and the ones who did the setup and everything of the catering for this event at the high school. And they took me and I got to view the kitchen in the new high school. It's brand new. Anybody that's not from this area that's watching this, brand new high school. So this was, it may have been the first time people got to even see the kitchen and what's happening there through the podcast. But I was envious, man. I would like to be a culinary student. And the teacher was so nice, and she's been there for years. And the students were so articulate about what they were doing, and they had concrete plans for their future. I just was impressed. It does my soul good to talk to the future within our students at the high school. So then I moved on, and there was a bunch of other kids that I just went and asked them, what's your role here? And they were doing what they call being ambassadors for the high school. Sorry, my mouth's dry. I need my coffee. So I think I met maybe 4, but I think there was more of them. And again, they were so articulate and smart and just knew what they wanted to do, were well-spoken. It was great. It was so good to talk to these students. Now, I used to teach high school students, and when I was overseas, I taught young students at university for a year. I was there almost 10 years. And it really brought back that feeling of inspiration and hope from these kids, and I'm sorry to call you kids, these young adults, these students. So watch those videos and listen to these students, these young adults. It does your soul good. It really, really does. And it makes you think, man, I wish I'd done that in school. Or man, I wish I had been that smart. Gosh, I wish I had been that clear-headed. I wasn't with a very good crowd in high school, so I didn't have those bright plans. I did go into college as soon as I graduated from high school. I was actually 17 when I started You wouldn't believe it, but I went to Auburn University at 17, but I dropped out after a year. I was just too young. I didn't know what I didn't have a good foundation. And then that begat 20 years of, whatever. So I really want to go back to the high school for some other events. One of the guys, I can't remember his name. It started with a J. He was the first, I think, one of the first ambassadors I talked to, but he was in band, and that kicked off the ideas. Oh my God, I want to go to a football game at the high school. I haven't been to something like that, well, since my kids were in school. I don't even know if I did then, because they were all soccer people. It was kind of a different area. I don't think we did. Oh no, I take that back. One of my kids was in marching band for a year, so I would have gone. But that's 20 years ago. So, yeah, I really want to get to a football game. I really want to see the marching band. I really want to see this kid. He's a drummer in the marching band, and I think that's very, very cool. So moving on, then we had Huskin, the superintendent, did a welcoming speech, and then another guy, I forgot his name, he was a banker, he did a welcoming speech, an intro speech for Mr. Braid, and then Mr. Braid got up and started talking, and I got to tell you, I love his connection to this county, his familial stories that he told. Sounds like he has really good experience, sounds like he has a vision for the county. I spoke with him before the event and requested a interview, and he told me to get in touch with the secretary, whoever's there, and he would arrange it. So I'm excited about that. I hope we get to talk to him maybe next week, maybe the week after, and talk to him about his vision. Now, you know from past podcasts, there was some question about the hiring practice of the Board of Supervisors that is involved with him, and I do want to bring that up with him, and of course we'll talk about that, but I do want to focus on his vision for this county and what steps he's going to take if he's mapped out. Maybe do that whole, what's your 30-day plan? What's your 60-day plan? What's your 90-day plan? You know, do something like that, because there's big chunk areas that we need to talk about. That's another interview that will be in the coming weeks, is about this new rehab facility that is being set for Halifax County. Hugely needed, and I have some personal stories of recovery from people I've been talking to in the county that we're going to bring to that story. So that, if you could look at this podcast almost like having its own departments, that's one. We're going to do this recovery section. We want to do a high school section. We want to do a county planning section, so to speak. Recreation, Edmonds, that would cover Edmonds Park and things like that. Of course, you know, meeting people. You could almost look at that as like a staffing department. I also talked to Mr. Brown of the IDA, the Industrial Development Authority, while I was at this event. He has also agreed to do an interview, so we can talk about their vision, what they're working on and doing, and filter that down to you as well. And I'm hoping to get maybe a monthly commitment from some of these people to do their own podcast within a podcast, just like a video giving you updates on what's happening. I want to do that for each municipality, which would involve Mr. Canlon from the town of South Boston and Mr. Espy from the town of Halifax. And I have yet to meet the two at Nathalie and Scottsburg. This is a big old county with a lot of communities. Tomorrow I'm planning on going out to Dryburgh and talking to some people there. A lot of other stuff coming up. So that was a really good event. It was really good meeting those people and listening to them. And I hope that that brings something to you, because this is where our connections are missing. So by going out here and meeting people and attending events, I can bring that to you so that you can be better informed and see what's happening. Now, there's also been some chatter. I've talked to Mr. Gordon. He brought something up on Facebook. You know, I call them keyboard warriors, people that talk on Facebook, because the trolls I've talked about. I'm not calling Mr. Gordon a troll. So aside from that, I call them trolls on here. There's a couple of ladies in the Pierce guy that, you know, are negative Nellies or want to make accusations. A lady today brought something up, and I'm asking for documentation. I need names, times, date, you know, and she's telling me to do my research. Well, I don't have the time or resources to do that. You bring it to me, and then if there's factual basis behind it, I will make a story out of it. So what brought this up was something today Mr. Gordon said on Facebook about holding people accountable, like the sheriff's office, the Commonwealth Attorney's office, the Board of Supervisors, to following the Constitution. And so I started asking questions. Okay, let's be more specific. What constitutional right do you think is being trampled? I'm guessing it's something to do with the Second Amendment, because we had a brief conversation about that before. But he said he would rather discuss it in person because it's too broad, or I'd have to go back and reread it all. And then that begets another lady talking about, they're insinuating corruption and things behind the scene. But, and that's fine and dandy, but that's what I want to do. I want to explore it. If you've got something that someone in the sheriff's office did that you can give me concrete evidence on, then I'll go to that person and discuss it with them and try and do a podcast about it. Just like I've been trying to do podcasts about things that are hinky about the Board of Supervisors. But I can't come on here and accuse somebody of something without evidence. I've got a lot that alludes to stuff, just like this social services thing I've been talking about. But I can't flat say A plus B equals C because I don't have the mathematical equations to insert there yet. But I am working on it, and I may never get it. I don't know. You just got to see where these things go. But if you've got somebody did hook me up. What was it called? Halifax mugshots about people that get arrested here? There's, I didn't know this, but you can find out if you have, God, what's it called? People who've been charged with sexual crime or child sexual crimes. There's and I should know this. I used to own a daycare. I had to go through all this. A child abuse registry. There's a registry that you can look up to see if you have these kind of people living in your neighborhood. Because for God's sakes, you don't want your kids walking down the sidewalk in front of a house for somebody who's been convicted of, pedophile or child molestation or something. So anyway, she sent me this link to something called Halifax mugshots, I think. And of course, the teacher who was arrested at a local Christian school here for having sex with a minor, she was in there. There's a former deputy that's in there. I'm not sure what it's for, but I think those are interesting stories to look at too. I feel like we're kind of entitled to know those. But you also have to understand you don't want to cross a line and make somebody's life miserable for a stupid mistake they made. So I always say everything in life is on a continuum, right? What falls in the middle and what's on the extreme ends. If there's a pedophile living on my street, I think I have a right to know that, and I think I have a right to publicly tell people that. However, if somebody does something really stupid, I've done stupid stuff. I got arrested for public intoxication one time because I drank too much and was shooting firecrackers in the street, and the police were walking up the street, and I didn't know it, and I got illegal Roman candles shooting it toward them. It was just stupid. I paid the price for that, got my name in the paper, look it up, whatever, I don't care. But I don't think that I should have to pay the price for that for the rest of my life. That brings up something else. About 35 years ago, I got a DUI when I was in my early 20s. It was in 1989. Do you know that still comes up when I applied for a driving job and wanted to get my CDL and was knocked back, and I was like, yo, really? That was more, it was 1989, 25, 35. So it was like 35 years or more ago, and I still pay the price for it. And whatever, fair enough. But they did go through and say, oh yeah, you're right, this really is old. They hadn't looked at the date. They just saw, DUI and said no. But anyway, we processed through it, and I wound up, and I got my CDL permit, and I'm going to finish up school to do it and get a job, blah, blah, blah. But should I pay for that for the rest of my life? Most of you, I'm sure, are going to say no. But if you say yeah, tell me why, or the stupid fireworks thing is should I never be employed again because of that? Should I have people gossip about me, or, yeah, I drank way too much. I don't drink at all. I haven't drank in years. So I did stupid stuff. I own it. I'm accountable. Will it happen again? Hopefully not. It's been years and years. But I don't think I should pay the price for that for the rest of my life, even though in some cases I have. so how did I deviate? Going back to this, what was it called? Halifax mugshots. Some of these I'm interested in talking about. So it made me think, anytime I've had to go to court for anything, me, whatever, other people, witness, whatever, if you ever go to circuit court or general district court in Halifax and sit in those cases, sometimes it's really interesting. Am I being nosy? Is it gossipy? Maybe. Sometimes you feel right bad for people. And sometimes you think, God, how are these people not in jail? Are those public? Can I take my camera in that courtroom? I'm real curious. I'm going to call around and find out next week. Because I think looking at some legal things around here would be interesting. Because the lady that was talking about stuff on Facebook today also made me think of that. And I know for a fact, if you're related to somebody in a certain department, you're going to get away with more stuff than Joe Blow on the street. If you've pissed somebody off in one of these legal offices, I have seen lawyers do some crappy things and talk about people outside of the jurisdiction of what they should be talking about. So yeah, I think there's some hinky stuff that goes on in this county, and I don't think it's just this county. I think it's every small town and county. There's a good old boy system, the who you know stuff. So I want to explore some of that. Now that the election's over, hopefully I'll have a little more free time. It's interesting. It's interesting. But I also don't want to shame people, and I don't want to make people pay for something stupid for the rest of their life or try to embarrass them. Every interview I did with those candidates, prior to the interview, we had a long talk because I didn't want to be in a position of doing gotcha. I don't want to do sensationalistic journalism. I want this to be uplifting and happy, but I don't want to be dishonest either. If there's something to show, we need to talk about it. These are hard conversations. And I'm reaching out to other people who are on the other side of the political fence as me, because I want to have conversations with you too. And you know who you are. We've been talking. But I think we can be civil, and I think this is the key to unity for the future. If you want to tell me I'm crazy, you go right ahead. But talk to me about it. Give me proof about it. Be respectful and be open, and don't just talk from a bubble. Part of the reason why this paradigm, this way I think, is part of why some of my rebranding and format has changed, because I still need to go back and change my thumbnails because I don't like the sensationalistic flavor of them that I didn't put on. But I am going to rectify that, and you'll see going forward. I'm learning new things on how to do it myself, where I can make it more middle of the road. And yeah, so that's it. Those were the big two things this week. I think I posted another interview. Oh yeah, with Mary. That was an interesting conversation because she's like a gun enthusiast and I'm not. But it was cool to talk to her about it. Yeah. And she was fearless in her conversation with me, and I just loved it. She has a shop at the Halifax Farmers Market that I try to support and help out. Anyway, what are we at on time here? We're at about 33 minutes. I think that's the main thing I wanted to go over. Please go to the website there and check out events. Please email me at halifactsoasis.com. Just remember, Halifax is spelled F-A-C-T-S. If you want to, send me a flyer of your event. Anybody by any chance wants to advertise? I don't have enough viewership yet for that to be... my hair's sticking up. I don't have enough viewership right now for anybody to be advertising with me, to be honest with you. But we're growing. My big goal is to get the YouTube channel up to 500 subscribers, because then I can do Google AdSense and have outside advertising come in. But we're a long, long way from that. So I need to get out here and do some interesting things enough to motivate you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. but I do appreciate everyone's support. I appreciate all the emails. I appreciate all the text messaging and messages and all that good stuff. It's fun, and I thoroughly enjoy talking to you and meeting people and listening to their ideas. So that's it for this week. See you next week. Have a good weekend. HalifaxOasis.com. Ciao.